Reporting in.
Final verdict on campaign. I enjoyed myself. I did enjoy myself. They were really pushing a lot of Lawless Frontiers, I think, as like more of a tutorial type thing, which I don't mind. Like sometimes you just want to like sit there and like play the game and not have to listen to anybody. Even if there were some like big dialogue moments that happened while you were in those activities, like, you know, the conversation between Bale and Lodi and all that kind of stuff, getting a little more background. But I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed playing with the buds. More than enjoyable than EOF. I didn't hate EOF campaign, and I didn't hate like EOF like powers that you got during it, but I think I was underwhelmed by a bunch of stuff in Edge of Fate, like puzzle wise, because they were pushing like the Metroidvania stuff so much, and it never really like got to the point where I was hoping that it would. So this was just like, hey, more traditional campaign experience. You know, the Renegade abilities are cool, but like they're not so impactful that like, you know, they didn't feel as crucial to the campaign experience as something like the Edge of Fate Metroidvania abilities. Opinion on Exotic Mission. Set piece was really cool. I think I still need to lock in on like how the mechanic actually works. Because, like, I know what you need to do. I just am a little confused on, like, which buff spawns which balls and why balls spawned and didn't spawn and this and that. Finale mission was really cool. That last sequence with the sparrows was really cool. They still have, like, the big bads out and about. So, like, if they were just like, yep, they both died in the spaceship accident, I would have been like, bro, what the f? But if they're still alive, that means they still have plans for them, which is fine. So yeah, I thought the final mission was cool, but I also just, you know, tried to enjoy the game or the campaign for what it was. Otherwise, just like pretty solid Destiny campaign experience. I enjoyed myself. It was definitely easier than Edge of Fate. I will say that. In a 3-man stack, it was definitely easier than Edge of Fate 3-man. I'm not coming in with like insane expectations anymore. It was a Destiny campaign. Had like some cool set pieces. The Star Wars stuff didn't really bug me. A couple things were a little heavy-handed, but like, okay. Still enjoyed myself. Enjoyed the characters. You got a lot of heavy hitters in here. You got Eris. You got Drifters. Zavala's making an appearance. Blue the Ghost was great. I like Honor. So, like, nothing cringe dialogue-wise. Like, I thought it was relatively cringe-free. Ghost did not speak a single time except to say that we had a message. Like, whenever you got, like, a call from an NPC, like, you have one new message. Like, he's a voice answering machine. So otherwise, Ghost did not talk, which I feel like people are not really that sad about. Because sometimes he kind of yaps a lot. It's not good, but it's fine, and that's okay. I mean, I would put it in the realm of, like, good for a Destiny campaign. But, like, people are not going to be, like, it was fine. I wouldn't call it not good. I would call it fine. I would call it I enjoyed myself. Because, like, there wasn't anything in it that I thought was horrible or, like, that bad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how much they really did wrong in this. I feel like if you don't do too many things wrong, it's tough to call it bad. And there were a couple of good moments in there. Biggest beef was how often you run the activity. That's fair. I think he was, like, in there maybe a couple extra times than I would have liked to have seen it. I think part of that is just, like, trying to get people familiar with the Lawless Frontier and, like, using it as a set piece. It's one of those D2 campaigns that leave you wanting more, but you don't know when that'll be. I think I felt like that more with Edge of Fate than I did with this campaign. Because Edge of Fate, I was like, I wanted more from the puzzles. I wanted more from, like, the abilities. I wanted more from that experience. This, I was like, okay. I feel like they kind of set out what they wanted to do. I do wish some of these, some of the enemy factions were voiced, though. I do wish they were voiced. I really wanted to hear what they would sound like. Could have been longer for the price. I mean, if you're just gonna like extend it for the sake of extending, I mean, people are literally saying like we ran the Lawless Frontier mission too many times. So like if they told the story that they wanted to tell, they told the story that they wanted to tell. Like would adding 2 more missions just for the sake of like padding it out to make it longer really have impacted your experience? For me, not really. So weird. I don't think there's enough here to be negative and put out negative sentiments, but I also don't want to confuse that for phrase. Like my attitude is this doesn't really solve anything, but it's fine. I mean, I'm kind of there with you, man. But that's the mentality that I came into this with. I would have a problem saying that like it's bad because I don't think anything was done particularly wrong in the campaign. And again, there were a couple of cool set piece moments. Finale mission was pretty fun. How's it bugs wise? Relatively stable. I ran into no problems. Fruit had like a game crash, whatever. Rob had his cat like step on his power strip so he get disconnected. Otherwise, I got in really quick. No problems loading. I have not run into any issues. I'm okay with this being it, like understanding where we're at and what we should be expecting. This is the anticipated offering. People are probably going to talk about cost, and that's valid, but it's on par with what we should expect. I'm right there with you. I'll turn on the chat. I will apparently not turn on the chat. Okay, the chat's broken. How about on this screen? Okay, it looks like chat's working there. Yeah. I wasn't expecting this to be the X Pack that brought me back. That just doesn't happen. That usually comes with time and feedback. Yeah, definitely. Does this come with any strikes? I don't think so. My camera is so tilted. I'm like, I'm gonna fall over. Still think the $40 in price is too much. I think a lot of people are looking at it as $40 for one day when it's supposed to be like $40 for the next 6 months. But also you could just like not play the campaign and just keep playing the game, and that's also fine. Pretty impressed with this expansion. Was expecting it to be a lot worse, and it was pretty good, like a 7 or 8 out of 10. I wasn't expecting it, like they have found like their bounds in which they are going to be making content, right? Like, I don't ever really expect anything in Destiny to be like horrible, but I also am not going in with the expectation that like everything's gonna change. Like, this is the one, you know? Surprised Lodi and Zavala showed up. Bungie tend to introduce characters instead of using the ones they've already created to flesh them out. I'd rather them bring back some long forgotten characters instead of constantly introducing new ones. That's fair. I was happy to see them, and I'm anticipating that Lodi is going to be somewhat of a staple because this whole saga is based on the 9, and he's the emissary now. So I expect Lodi to show up more often than not, for sure. It's cool to like have a place kind of like feel more lively. It's cool to see other people in here. I mean, literally the first time we came here, someone was like, I forgot this game had chat. So I don't know. It just makes the place feel a little more alive. Took a break for EOF, and this new campaign was interesting, at least after taking time away from the game for a while. It was interesting seeing how things developed with the leveling issues, how it resolved. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of questions of like, is Renegades a good place to come back? And I'm like, it's better than Edge of Fate was to come back, because it had a very rough launch, had a lot of tuning that needed to be done when it came to like the leveling and portal and this and that. And now that like most of the kinks are kind of out and we have a campaign that like feels, you know, not too bad, I would say it's definitely a better time than Edge of Fate was to return. But also it depends on your level of enthusiasm. If you're like on the edge and like, you know, I'm looking for a reason to come back. If you're actively looking to get back to the game, then this is definitely a better time than a few months ago. Yeah, I'll have 2 scoops of the chocolate. No, 2 scoops of that. So, do I get my money back, or I'm just gonna bring it up at the bank? So like, if you're looking for a reason to come back, this is a better time to come back than Edge of Fate was. So if you like skipped Edge of Fate, I'd be like, yeah, you know, it's better now. But if you're someone who is not really looking for a reason to come back, would I say this is going to do a lot for you? Probably not, unless you're like a very enthusiastic Star Wars fan. At least, again, in terms of the campaign experience. We're just talking campaign. I haven't gotten to mess with anything else. But like, I'm not really anticipating from this moment on until the next expansion to be horribly different than typical seasonal offerings. Probably until the big roadmap post, or until I see enough videos about major changes. That's probably a conversation for another day, but I do wonder like what kind of major changes people would be looking for that would have them return, you know? Again, conversation for another day. We don't need to get deep into it right now. Genuinely expected less from this. I was not expecting less from this, but I also got to like preview it, so I kind of got a vibe for how it was going to be. But I can understand, like, as just like a regular player, seeing what Edge of Fate was like and being like, ooh, probably not going to be that good. But no, I think this was better than Edge of Fate, as just purely talking the campaign experience. But I do think it will also age better than Edge of Fate, because it actually has like an activity and like some new places to do some combat, and like the combat's pretty fun because there's a lot of enemy density in those activities and all that kind of stuff. So like the stuff with the 9, I think it's great. I think it's really cool. I like all the stuff with the 9. Does the expansion still feel like it fits into Destiny as a whole, or does it feel like Star Wars just jammed into it? I mean, there were a couple of moments for sure where you're like, yep, that's Star Wars, all right. But I was willing to look past it for any of those moments. Like, but otherwise, I didn't feel like it was too much. But if you're someone who was hyper specific in like looking for, or like hyper diligent in looking for like all the Star Wars things and just being like, ugh, yep, that's another thing from Star Wars. Dumb. Like, if you're going in with that mentality, you were just never gonna like what they had to offer anyway. So like, if you want to be that guy about it, you can be that guy about it and just be miserable. But otherwise, like, it felt pretty good. It still felt very Destiny. So TBH. This is exactly what I was looking for. I have 6,000 hours on the game, which is low compared to you probably. I have 6,600 on Steam. I see a lot of replayability. Ad density is crazy. Story is great. The only bad thing I even have to say was that it was too short. This is amazing. I think we need to take it for what it is and just enjoy it. The only thing really holding this back is the community that has a kink for talking down about Destiny. I hated Edge of Fate, but this was amazing. Hated Edge of Fate. This was amazing. That's a big swing. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Like, people want closure in the form of like the servers are offline for this game and they're never coming back on. Like, that's the only way people are ever going to be happy with this game, is if it like completely turns off forever, because everyone's identity, if they're not playing Destiny 2, is to talk about how much they hate Destiny 2. I almost don't blame them, because it's like the only way that they can come.